Welcome to the Unraveling the Scriptures channel. Imagine diving into the reading of ancient sacred texts that date back over 2,000 years, read by the early followers of Christianity and the ancient Jews of the era of Jesus and up to 300 years before. Have you heard of the fascinating Dead Sea Scrolls? If not, I invite all of you to explore the most ancestral version of the Old Testament, preserved to this day. The enigmatic Dead Sea Scrolls hold fascinating secrets and mysteries. Therefore, I invite you to leave your likes, comments, subscribe to the channel, and share the video with those who are interested in unraveling the ancient Judeo-Christian writings. The mysterious Dead Sea Scrolls, the oldest version of the Bible. The renowned Dead Sea Scrolls, also known as the Qumran Cave Scrolls, constitute a collection of ancient Jewish documents from the Second Temple period. Discovered over a period of 10 years, between 1946 and 1956, in the Qumran Caves, located in the West Bank, about 12 kilometers from Jericho, on the northern coast of the Dead Sea, these scrolls surprisingly date back to the 3rd century BCE, about 2,300 years ago, up to the 1st century after Christ. Considered a cornerstone in the history of biblical archaeology, these documents have great historical, religious, and linguistic significance. They include the oldest surviving complete manuscripts of later books, including the current biblical canons of various regions, both Christian and Christianized, as well as other texts considered canonical and inspired by God in antiquity, over 2,000 years ago. These manuscripts provide a wealth of evidence about religious thought in late Second Temple Judaism, simultaneously shedding new light on the emergence of Christianity and Rabbinic Judaism. Most of the approximately 15,000 scrolls and scroll fragments are housed in the Shrine of the Book at the Israel Museum in Jerusalem. The custody of these precious documents by the Israeli government is disputed by Jordan and the Palestinian Authority due to territorial, legal, and humanitarian issues. Their discovery occurred mainly after the annexation of the West Bank by Jordan, and subsequently, they were acquired by Israel after Jordan's loss of Arab dominion in 1967. Israel's claims are primarily based on historical and religious grounds, given the importance of these manuscripts in Jewish history and the heritage of Judaism. Many thousands of these written fragments were discovered in the area of the Dead Sea, representing remnants of larger manuscripts damaged by natural causes or human interference. Most of these fragments contain only small pieces of text, but a small number of well-preserved and nearly intact manuscripts have survived, totaling less than a dozen, originating from the Qumran Caves. Researchers have gathered a collection of 981 different manuscripts, discovered between 1946 and 1947 and in 1956, from 11 caves near the Jewish Hellenistic settlements at Khirbet Qumran, located in eastern Judea, in the desert of the West Bank. These caves are approximately 1 mile west of the northern coast of the Dead Sea, hence their name. For a long time, archaeologists associated the scrolls with the ancient Jewish sect known as the Essenes or simply the Essene Jewish group. However, some recent interpretations have challenged this connection, arguing that the scrolls may have been written by priests in Jerusalem, Zadokites or other unknown Jewish groups. In fact, during the time of Jesus, the disciples, and the apostles, the scriptures read were those found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Most of these texts are written in Hebrew and Aramaic, reflecting the regional dialects of Aramaic, including the Nabatean language of the ancient Ishmaelites. Some are in Greek, while recent discoveries include texts in Latin from Masada and Arabic. The materials used vary, with most texts on parchment, some on papyrus, and even some rare ones on copper. While the academic consensus places the Dead Sea Scrolls between the 3rd century BCE and the 1st century CE, there are discoveries of sites associated with the Judean desert dating back to the 8th century BCE and as late as the 11th century CE. Bronze coins found at the same sites form a series that begins with John Hyrcanus, a ruler of the Hasmonean kingdom, around 100 BCE, and continues until the period of the First Jewish-Roman War, dated from 66 to 73 CE, corroborating the paleographic evidence and radiocarbon dating of the scrolls. Due to the poor state of preservation of some scrolls, scholars have not been able to identify all their texts. The identified texts can be divided into three general groups. About 40% are copies of texts from the Hebrew and Aramaic scriptures. Another approximately 30% consist of texts from the Second Temple period that ultimately were not canonized in the Bible due to decisions of ancient Catholic councils. For example, some books such as the famous Book of Enoch, which was considered authentic at the time of the Dead Sea Scrolls, as well as the Book of Jubilees, dating back to periods as ancient as the 7th century BCE, the Book of Tobit, the Wisdom of Sirach, and Psalms 152 to 155, among others. The remaining approximately 30% consist of sectarian manuscripts of previously unknown documents, shedding light on the rules and beliefs of certain sects or groups within Judaism. This includes the Rule of the Community, the War Scroll, the Pesher on Habakkuk, and the Blessing Rule. The Book of Enoch, one of the most recognized works among the Dead Sea Scrolls, was previously considered unique in its Ethiopian version. The Dead Sea Scrolls demystified this view, revealing it not as a false attribution by the Ethiopians but as an ancient Jewish text. Previously, the Book of Enoch was associated with the Ethiopians, considered pseudographic, a fictional creation attributed to someone posing as Enoch. However, the Dead Sea Scrolls confirm its authenticity. Regarding the origin of the Dead Sea Scrolls, there has been considerable debate. Although the prevailing theory held that the scrolls were produced by the Essenes, a Jewish sect residing near Qumran, this view has been challenged by various contemporary scholars. I'm going to share some of the existing theories about the origins of the Dead Sea Scrolls. It is important to highlight that these scrolls were known and used in the time of Christ, both subsequently and up to 3 centuries before the time of Jesus. One of the most widespread theories, known as the Qumran-Essenes hypothesis, advocated mainly by Roland Guérin de Vaux and Yosef Tadeusz Milik, suggests that the Essenes, a Jewish sect residing at Khirbet Qumran, were responsible for the production of the scrolls. According to this theory, the Essenes or another Jewish sectarian group would have written and hidden the scrolls in nearby caves during the Jewish revolt between 66 and 68 CE. The site of Qumran was destroyed, and the scrolls remained hidden. Several arguments support this hypothesis. One of these pieces of evidence is the similarity between the description of a ceremony for the initiation of new members in the Rule of the Community, and the descriptions of Essene initiation ceremonies mentioned in the works of Flavius Josephus, a Jewish Roman historian of the Second Temple period. Josephus mentions the Essenes practicing the sharing of property among community members, a custom similar to that described in the Rule of the Community. During excavations at Khirbet Qumran, 2 inkwells and elements of plaster believed to be tables were discovered, providing evidence of writing activity at the site. More inkwells were found nearby, leading de Vaux to designate this area as a scriptorium based on these findings. Several Jewish ritual baths, known as mikveh in Hebrew, were identified at Qumran, indicating an observant Jewish presence at the site. The Spanish Jesuit José O'Callaghan Martinez argued in the 1960s that a fragment preserved part of the text of Mark 6 verses 52 to 53 from the New Testament. This theory was examined in 2000 through paleographic analysis of the fragment in question. However, this claim sparked controversy, and O'Callaghan's theory remains a point of intense dispute. Subsequent analyses in 2004 and 2018 corroborated O'Callaghan's original claim, offering greater credibility to his theory. Robert Eisenman proposed the theory that certain scrolls offer insight into the early Christian community. He also argued that the paths of James the Just and the Apostle Paul are reflected in events documented in some of these manuscripts. There are those who argue that the scrolls were produced by Jews residing in Jerusalem, who hid them in the caves near Qumran while escaping from the Romans during the fall of Jerusalem in 70 CE. Karl Heinrich Rengstorff was the first to suggest, in the 1960s, that the Dead Sea Scrolls originated from the library of the Jewish Temple in Jerusalem. Subsequently, Norman Gold proposed that the scrolls came from various libraries in Jerusalem, not necessarily the temples. Advocates of the Jerusalem origin theory point to the diversity of thought and writing styles among the scrolls as evidence against the idea that all were produced in Qumran. Several archaeologists have also adopted an alternative view regarding the origin of the scrolls. These are just some of the theories and interpretations proposed by scholars about the origins of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Now, I would like to hear your opinions on the oldest texts of the Old Testament. Please comment on what you think about the Dead Sea Scrolls. God bless you, and see you soon.